final of the three Group 1s then is the Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup. We'll look at that in a second. Make sure you have a look at Hong Kong Direct. That's on the website from Friday evening. Ed Sadler with Maddie Plale there from the Racing Post. The $24 million, though, feature the 2,000-metre Group 1, headed by Time Warp from barrier 7 for Zach Burton. He's our likely leader. Al Ain from Japan, barrier 6. Pakistan Stars come up with the inside gate. Karen McAvoy now in the saddle. Dambarite, barrier 5. Ping Star, the Derby winner from 3. Eagle Way from 2. Gold Mount, one of 3 in the race for Tony Cruz from barrier 8. And then Denozo will jump from barrier number 4. So, where do we start? Al Ain, who seems to have his own ideas about track work as much as anything else, Steve. 57
minutes he was on the track on Thursday morning, not really consenting to undertake any vigorous exercise, which I can empathise with. But I've found in the past it doesn't really work for me. You know, a couple of days before the indoor cricket final, going to the pub is usually not as good a preparation as rolling a few over in the nets. So that worries me. It worries me. What do I want to see happen in this race? I want to see Pakistan Star do something crazy and quirky and win. That's what I'd like to see happen.
Karen McAvoy then will jump on the horse for the first time. It's been a while since Karen's been here at Sha Tin as well.
Great opportunity for him. And Pakistan Star has been the poster boy of Hong Kong racing for nigh on 2 years now. But they say never let the facts get in the way of a good story. Let's consider a few facts for Pakistan Star. I think he's lost 11 of his last 12 races. He's been turned over at money on, odds on 6 times. We know that he can drop the lot at a moment's notice, and still the public forgive him. So if he wins, I lose. It will be a great story, but I can't trust him to deliver his very best at all stages of a race. Having said that, I'm now about to show forgiveness for Al Ain, the horse who did a very good impression of another great Japanese horse, Ancient Hikari, on the track this morning.
All right, well, 2 very quirky characters. Let's hear from the trainer of Al Ain, Yasutoshi Ike.
Mr. Ike, good to see you here in Hong Kong. We saw Al Ain this morning, what he did on the track. Is that normal behaviour for him in the mornings?
As far as stopping on the track, that's the first time he's shown that.
Was what you saw this morning a concern?
In regards to the results of the track work, happy with the results of the track work. In regards to speed and the amount of work that he needed to do, that was accomplished. So in those regards, what needed to be achieved at track work in the end was achieved.
Coming here to Hong Kong, are you confident with this horse going into a Group 1 race here, taking on the local horses?
Confident before coming, being confident was one of the reasons why they're here to compete, but in saying that, small field but very good horses in the field with some high rated horses, so it will be a challenge, but yes, he's confident.
So Al Ain comes with a potential health warning. We've touched on Pakistan Star, but what about Tony Cruz's other runners, Gold Mount and Time Warp, who's dipped under 2 minutes last time for the 2,000 metres. First horse ever to do that.
Yeah,
here at Sha Tin, anyway.
He's a huge favourite of mine, Time Warp. He's got 2 Group 1s on his dance card at this distance. He's flopped twice at a mile. My concern for him is that last Group 1 win over 2,000. The pace of that race took the horses who pressed that pace to a very, very tough place indeed. And he ran a very ordinary race over a mile last time. He could bounce back, but you can't forget that this horse finished last time, and he's going to be one of the favourites. What do you make of him, Steve?
Yes, it's interesting talking to Zach Burton earlier in the week, and I thought, do we just treat those 2 1,600-metre runs as aberrations? And he said, well, I'm not sure that we can treat those 2 races exactly the same way. Yep.
Tony Cruz is prepared to give the horse a pass. Zach isn't quite so forgiving, is he?
And whether that stunning performance just took something out of him, he may well bounce back. He's going to roll to the front here. He may be able to dictate terms. But I think that might set the race up for the other Japanese horse, Dambarite, who Al Ain and Dambarite, of course, both come through the Osaka High, which was a nonsensical race where they crawled. The winner took off early in a clever ride, and Dambarite lost his spot. He's a free-running, rolling, one-pace, sustain and effort kind of horse. And I think Tommy Berry's got his head around that. And I think he'll be the one sitting second behind Time Warp. And if there's any chink with Time Warp, if he starts to feel the pinch a little at the 400, I think Dambarite will sail by.
I think it's 3-1 to Al Ain over Dambarite at the moment, but there's generally not too much between them. And the just below the best of Japan has often been good enough in this race. Asian Preston, rulership, neo-realism. So I think these Japanese horses could have a part to play.
Well, let's just go back to Tony Cruz's 3 runners here as he chats with Ed Sadler.
Tony, 3 runners in the QE2 Cup. Start off, time warp. Any concerns about that last run from him?
No concerns, because last time was too short for him. It was a 1600 meters. He's definitely a mile and a quarter or a mile and a half type of horse. And he's coming into this race just as fit as he was in the Gold Cup. I'm very happy with him.
What about Pakistan Star? Our last time out looked like he wanted to stop at different times. He's had a trial since then. How is this horse?
He's full of surprises, this horse. I reckon he can surprise this horse. I believe he's definitely a Group 1 material. He's run right behind the leaders. I think he's standing a good chance. Last time, when he had his first run this season, he was stuck behind time one. But this time around, hopefully the jockeys change and will make a big difference there.
What about Goldmount after that win at Happy Valley last time?
Well, he's a real stayer, this horse. I think he can do a 2-mile race actually, and he's very fit. I think they might run the distance might be too short for him, but I think I'll be hopeful he get a place.
Who would be the best of your 3 in the race?
Well, obviously Time Wolf and Pakistan Star. These 2 will fight it out, I reckon.
So no surprises there. Tony Cruz nominating Time Warp and Pakistan Star, but deserves a mention, Goldmount, Graham?
Definitely, because he's a strong stayer. He comes in on the back of a good win. He ties in very closely with the 2 horses he beat, Eagle Away and Dinot. So in theory, they're not quite good enough, but I do think Goldmount's stamina might just enable him to stay on into 4th.
Yeah, you mentioned Eagle Way and Dinozo. 3 runners in the race for the Sioux family with Time Warp as well. But maybe the X factor here is Piguet Star, Steve.
Yes, certainly. Andrew, as we touched on at the top of the show, there's been 3 Derby winners since 2011 complete this double into the Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup. It's always that time-honoured question, how strong is this 4-year-old crop? We'll know a little bit more by Sunday afternoon. We'll probably know a little bit more in 6 months' time. But I think his performance to jump from the 1400 to win the Derby at the 2000 was excellent. I think they're probably a decent group. John Size attended the Jockey Club press conference this morning. There were 2 interesting parts of it. He was very happy man at peace with the world. Very positive sign. His comments about Piguet Star was guarded optimism. Even the great trainer conceded, well, you never quite know how they come through a very, very hard run to win a race like the Derby and whether they'll bounce back, but he's going to be mighty hard to beat, I think.
All right, so it sounds like he's on top for you then, Steve?
Well, no, I'm going to tip Dan Bright just for the sake of the odds. Yep, marginally ahead of Piguet Star. So my numbers are 4, 5, 3 and 1 in the Cup.
I'm going to take a chance with Alain. I hope this morning's antics might help push his price out a little. His best form is good enough. Piguet Star, he is the horse who's improving fast, so you have to have him high on the short list. Time Warp's a favourite of mine. I'm sure he'll run really well, and Goldmount for 4th. But there are so many little queries and questions about various horses here that anything could happen.
Yeah, it's a fascinating race. That is the Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup. Now, the first race on Sunday is at 12:45. The 3 Group 1s are races 6, 7 and 8 at 3:20 for the mile, 4 o'clock for the sprint, and then 4:40 for the big one, the Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup. That is just about it, gentlemen. But as a first Champions Day goes, Steve, I think we've got a lot to look forward to.
Absolutely, and as Graham touched on, I'm sure they'll build on this over the next couple of years, and a handful more international competitors, it'd be great, but that is a competitive marketplace now. I think we've got 3 intriguing races as it is on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the sprint as much as anything now.
Yeah, to get those extra international runners, you need the small core of international runners here to shine this weekend, and I think at least one of them might.
All right, well, thanks for your time, and thanks for watching as well. That's the show. Thank you for your company. Hopefully we can count again on Sunday when 3 kings will be crowned on Champions Day at Sha Tin.